So first of all, let me call the meeting to order and also welcome Steve to our board. Congratulations on securing your spot. Um, and I guess the next point on our agenda would be just reorganization of the board. So as customary, I think I told you, Stephen, that basically every like your first year you'll be on the board. Second year, typically you chair the board, and then your third year you move to vice chair. So as we reorganize for this year, Carolyn, you'll become chair. I will be the vice chair, and then Stephen, you'll be a member as we move forward. Um, so I think we probably still just as a formality to vote on that. So can I get a motion to put you, and I don't know, maybe like to basically just reorganize the board in that fashion.
Yeah, I'll make that motion to reorganize as Rob stated with Carolyn as chair and Rob as vice chair.
Carolyn, can I get a
I second.
all right? All those in favor?
Yes.
Uh,
All right. So we have now reorganized. Um, and so I think at the next Parks Commissioners meeting, Carolyn, we're going to turn over the agenda and everything over to you. And then Stephen, just so you know, I think just in terms of housekeeping, our next Parks Commissioners meeting is May 14th, 7:30 in the morning. So do you have that on your calendar?
yes, Brian shared that. Yes.
Okay, great. So for now, we actually had this meeting basically just to touch base with Ty and Bond, who's been our consultant on the recreational master plan. I know you've been involved, obviously, from baseball with Ryan and Allie. And we're kind of in, I don't know, we're probably two-thirds done, or even further than that, Ryan, um, on on the um, on the master plan. So this meeting actually was scheduled because we were the point we were going to present at town meeting. And that was going to be on next week on either, I think that it was like the 6th or the 7th. At the end of the day, like the town meeting agenda is very big. And so Nick Milano had reached out and said, could we postpone and do it in October town meeting? And I was okay with that because I've been super slammed at work. I think it also kind of gives us some breathing time to make sure we can finish up this master plan. But I do want to keep, our foot on the gas. And I spoke to Ryan yesterday and said, I think everybody wants to kind of move to completion of the master plan. So with that being said, I think, Ryan, I think at the next Parks Commissioner meeting on the 14th, if you guys could prepare, like kind of like, I know we at the last one we spoke about revisions and such to some of the parks pieces.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I was hoping that we could, I don't know if I don't think I don't know what you guys have prepared for today, but I think in the thinking of it, for like the 14th, that kind of gives you 2 weeks. Is that enough time for you guys to like make any revisions on your end to what we had done?
Yeah, no, we took notes from that last meeting about all the revisions that the board had asked us for, and a lot of that has kind of already been completed. Specifically, as far as the high school and Flatley Field, we've already taken our shots at that. I think
Okay.
what I'd like to prepare for that 14th meeting is just a discussion about overall costs of those projects as we see them and the revised layout, just to kind of give the board like an order of magnitude. Hey, here's what we're thinking. Obviously, we know you're going to have to phase these improvements, and you're probably not going to do it all in one chunk. But here's maybe a potential phasing, and kind of talk through like what the board thinks is reasonable as like our first project, so that we can kind of start setting ourselves up or start wrapping our brain around what that looks like. That would be kind of my goal for that 14th. I don't know if that's sounds like it's on board for what you guys are thinking, but I wanted to bounce that off with you.
Yeah, I think that would be great to also have costs in there. Also, like if there, I know some of the thinking is like, what are opportunities to pay, right? Like
Yeah.
public funding, right? That wouldn't just be us going back out to taxpayers saying, listen, we need to raise whatever, right? So I think we need to figure out what other mechanisms we can do. And I know in concert with this planning is the open space and rec committee is kind of moving forward on that. So I know that there'll be other grant opportunities, but if you could touch base on that, I think it would be helpful for us.
Kylie, do you see any issue with pulling that information together for the 14th for
Yeah,
costs? I know you had started looking into it.
yeah, I can do that.
Okay. Perfect.
And then so like that would be great, but like then and also can you just come prepared on the 14th? Like it would be good for us to understand like what else is left, right? Like I know it would just be helpful. Like when do you plan on finishing your report? Do we need more like I don't know, this is a question back out to our members is like Carolyn, Steve is like, do we need more like another community meeting or any what other meetings do you think would be a benefit to this process as we move forward and kind of wrap it up, and I don't know, and Steve, I think maybe it'd be good to hear from you too because I know you were also like representing baseball and I know that you've been engaged on a few occasions, but would it be good to touch base one more time with all the folks that were involved from the sports groups?
I think it would be wise, Rob, because I think what we would be remiss is if we move forward with something and then there are people that feel that they were not necessarily, kept abreast or included in some ways. So I think even on the last call that included a lot of people, it appeared to me at least that some had or had not spoken with Ryan yet. And so I think to kind of wrap that together and give everyone a summary, okay, we have spoken to everyone and here's where we are and what the goals are moving forward. I think that would make sense.
Okay. So that's my thinking. And I know, Carolyn, you had suggested too, like for these groups to also meet with us, right, at a future meeting. Maybe we can just wrap that in to the process, Ryan, so that we can get all the sports groups because they obviously had a stake in the game. I mean, there's a big stake in the game from them. And I think it is worth like going, like having one more community meeting just so that we can like wrap it up with the bow. So I think it would be sports groups meet with us, right, at a Parks Commissioners meeting, and then probably like one more community meeting. But I think that's going to be my intuition would be is to like have those earlier meetings, you do all your report and then present like to like a community.
Yeah.
Right.
Carolyn, I got the sense out of, I think our last meeting, or maybe it was at a Parks Commission meeting in the morning after that meeting, that you were thinking you may want to get some public involvement in these master plans. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, I mean, my biggest concern is, as we start to show, what could be, is you're gonna, at least my experience in town is people that live within those areas are gonna feel like they weren't part of the process, even though we've tried to make it as inclusive as possible. Yeah. And so, like if we're going to do a community meeting that is going to highlight, Andrews Park, I think it would be in our best interest to, contact East Milton Neighborhood Association, let them know this is what we're discussing. We'd like input from the neighbors. I just think
is that one?
We need to hear from them. Yeah.
Is that the one like flatly not a ton of
right?
It's not. Yeah, cool. Flatly would be like figuring out neighbors around Flatly, right? I think to just and maybe we go to like that's my neighborhood, so maybe we talk to like P10 neighbors or whatever to get them involved. But I think there's probably a step in between here, like that you're going to do some more work, right? And I think you got to come to our board and we figure out that. It's kind of like an in-between stage and then have the community input on it before like we do like your finish. Yeah. So all that makes sense. And I think if you can come for the 14th to like basically just like an outline of where you want this project to be finished. And then I would add in those kind of meetings. And then I know like a big piece of this too, Ryan, was like the budget on the project. And if we can just wrap up, I know you said like time and materials or whatever that you were thinking of. I think that would be fine to like move forward with it. So yeah, I think you just, let's wrap that back in and figure out what we need to do to
What
complete.
I'd like to do, because I think we keep finding really good ideas about how we want to get public involvement or more involvement into the project. What I'd like to do is I'd like to set, Ally and I just put together like, here's what we heard today from you guys. And then are we on board with that? And then I can provide you an amendment based on that.
Yeah.
And that will be kind of our guide. And then you guys kind of agree with that. And that will be how we summarize to the group on the 14th, what the process looks like moving forward. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That way I don't want to present it in front of the group on the 14th and realize you guys want to know something different or maybe we misheard you. So why don't we put it together an email? I'll be honest with you, the rest of my day is kind of booked, but I'll put it together an email on Monday back to you guys.
I think next week is fine,
Okay.
as long as you can get it to us by like next week, that would be fine.
Okay.
I know we have some time. I think it's just about making sure we get to the 14th and we're prepared for the 14th.
Rob, can I just mention, just for housekeeping, I just want to mention to Ryan and Allison that I did receive the amendment from Nick Milano today for the extra two, the next two steps on the project, on the original contract being approved. So I just need a couple of signatures on that, and I'll send that out to you guys on Monday.
Thank you.
Great.
And Steve and Carolyn, just so you guys know what that was, we had put together a proposal for the full project, but at the time we wanted to get going, I don't think all the money was allocated for the project, so we only got okayed on a couple of tasks, so the first 4 tasks. And so that just basically finishes up our original proposal for the project.
So Bonnie, do you need someone from the commissioners to sign?
I don't believe so. I'm just financial here,
okay,
financing
good.
department, and then Nick, and then I believe I'll send it off to Ty and Bond for a signature.
All right, great.
Thanks, Bonnie.
No
All
problem.
right. That all sounds good.
Yeah, and I just want to chime in because Rob, I know you've kind of been the lead on the master plan, and while I'm taking over as chair, I think you still need to be the lead and the point of contact to kind of see the project through. So hopefully, Steve, you kind of agree with that, and obviously Ryan and Allie, I know that's tough continuing to have to work with Rob, but
I know it's rough, but
At this point, I mean, I don't, unless you guys don't want to be copied, happy to copy everyone in on the emails going back and forth, just so you guys are all apprised, if that makes sense. And
yeah, that would be nice.
That way,
yeah, 100%. I think as we go through, I think we just want to have a smooth, just continue on like back and forth, Ryan, that like we can continue to talk separately from commissioners, but then we continue to be all involved, at least once a month. But I think we're getting close. We probably only have like 2 more probably commissioners meetings. And my hope is, Ryan, is that we end here. Maybe we have a May meeting and then let's hope for like a June meeting to be like an end. That's my goal. So I think that's what let's shoot for that.
Too many meetings in between that time, if I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah.
We're talking about one with coaches and one with public. That may be, we'll see. Let us lay that out for you, and then you tell us if we misheard you. But
yeah, I mean, the biggest challenge is summer is always a challenge, right? Like once we get like schools out and it becomes July, that's when we're going to start. It's going to be tougher to get meetings.
Okay, this sounds great, guys. So we'll put that together on our end, and we'll get back to you. And do you guys want us to send if we have those markup PDFs or the revisions made to the PDFs you want us to send that out to you to make sure you guys are happy with them before we look at them at the Parks Commissioner meeting on the 14th, or do you want to just look at them next?
Personally, I think, I don't know. I'm so crazy busy. I don't know. I feel like I almost feel too, it's better to have like you present them than to like send them over to us without like background information, because then we could, I don't know, but that's my own feeling. I don't know how you guys feel, but I think it's like helpful to have you guys like present anything, because I think it helps, state why you did some certain things.
Yeah, we'll be prepared to walk through on the 14th.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Awesome.
Thank you. Anything else? If not, first of all, yeah, do you guys have anything else, Steve or Carolyn, for time bond, or are we set to wrap up? All right. So can I just get a motion to to adjourn?
All right, that's it. That's all we've got to discuss.
I think so.
Okay, I make a motion to adjourn today's meeting.
Second.
Second. Okay. Yep.
Okay. All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. So we'll see you the 14th, and we'll talk then.
Guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
All
everyone.
right. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Bonnie, for
Yep.
coordinating all this.
Yeah.
No
Thank you,
problem.
Bonnie.
Have a
Have a
good
good
weekend.
weekend. You too.
Bye.